What's up, Ghost and Goals? It's the one, the only, JT Ripper, and I'm here with
Todd of Thunder.
And you're listening to the last episode of a Horrorble podcast for 2023, that is. We're going to take a little time off, sit back, relax, think about, new segments, new ideas, new fun stuff for the people. I got some stuff in the work, possibly going to be changing up the intro, maybe, possibly working with the band called the John Candy. They are a phenomenal band. It was like number one on my top 10 artists you listen to throughout the year. They were number one. They're a metal band, but they take like samples and influences of all different other genres and put it together. They're just fucking phenomenal. And we were talking, getting them to do the the intro and stuff like that. So that's possibly in the works down the pipe. I don't know. We'll see what 2024 brings. But this is kind of a special, I guess, Christmas episode.
Yeah, it's like Christmas / last Horrorble Conversation, all kind of combined in one.
Yeah, little fun segment.
Just things to, the last, like the last minute thing of the year, getting you news and new movies before the year is up.
Yeah, I haven't quite decided if I'm going to go see, or we're going to go see Godzilla, what is it, -1? Is that what it's called?
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, I guess we can start that off.
Cool.
Because, I got some new movies that have either been released or upcoming release. And that is one of them, is Godzilla -1. But, of course, it's in limited theaters.
Is it?
Yeah. It's a Japanese movie.
Oh, it is? I didn't know.
Yeah, it's a Japanese movie. As far as I can see, the trailer, it's all Japanese people, so.
Is it in the same universe, or is it just...
I don't know.
Like the same God. I don't know. I'm confused. I'm not really a Godzilla fan, so to speak. I like Godzilla movies, but I'm not like, these diehard avid fans, so.
But anyway, you have... you have that, which is in limited theaters. You have It's a Wonderful Knife, which we talked about a couple episodes ago. That's streaming on Shudder. Some other films, Raging Grace, I don't know what that is, but that's on demand. A movie called Loop Track, that's on video on demand, that's being released. Here's an interesting title one. Everyone Will Burn.
Okay. I dig it. I haven't heard or seen a trailer about
that's on digital. We're recording this on the December 4th.
Yeah.
This will be later on, but this will be available digital December 5th. So
by the time the people are listening to this, it's already out.
And there is a movie called Night of the Missing, which is pretty interesting because it stars Bill Moseley of the Devil's Trilogy and Swerve Strickland from the AEW Wrestler.
What?
And it's going to be streaming on Screambox and can be purchased on video on demand.
Oh, I might have to subscribe to Screambox and see what it's all about.
And don't forget that Silent Night is in theaters right now. It's not necessarily a horror film, but it's described as a bloody good time of violence, directed by John Woo, who's a big, in the late 90s, early 2000s with Mission Impossible and Face Off and stuff like that. So that's
I've heard mixed reviews on it.
And there's a movie called Don't Suck, which is a vampire film, and it stars Jamie Kennedy.
What?
So
I
I'm
didn't even
assuming
know that.
Yeah, I'm assuming that it's probably comedy filled,
Huh.
but
I
it's on demand and digital.
might have to see how much that is to rent. That might be a rent. I mean, we've seen our fair share of movies. I'm kind of movied out for this year. I think we've seen like what 30 movies this year.
Yeah,
Something
we've
like
seen quite a few.
that. It's been a decent year for horror. The stuff that hit really fucking hit hard. Especially Thanksgiving, continuing the slashers. Hopefully the slashers keep coming. In news about slashers and Thanksgiving, they've Eli Roth officially announced that they are going to be doing a Thanksgiving 2. They'll be shooting next year, and it should be released Thanksgiving around that time of 2025.
Yeah, I mean, I assumed. Well, I didn't assume, but I saw the film and I said that it's sequel material to it. I mean, it's simple, it's straightforward. You could build a franchise off of it, no doubt about it.
Easily.
But for those wondering, we did a review of The Exorcist Believer a couple months ago.
Yeah, we did.
And if anybody wants to check that out, it's actually streaming on Peacock right now. So,
the cock. Yeah.
Just to find some, horror movies to watch and stuff like that. You didn't go to the theaters and watch them. Most of the, a lot of these films are. It's right around the time where they're out of theaters, they're hitting streaming services, and we're trying to stay on top of where you can watch these films at.
Yeah, I haven't seen Saw X on anything. I know you can buy it physically and digitally now. I was looking for the Steelbook. I haven't found the Steelbook version of Saw X because I want that one, and Thanksgiving when that comes out.
Yeah, and for those of you who like television shows type of deal, I don't know if this is necessarily horror, but it's Bruce Campbell will be hosting a new series, and the series is called Discontinue. And I think it's actually out already, but the producer of the show is actually Ryan Reynolds. So,
really,
yeah, it premiered. Yeah, it's already out. It premiered November 30th on the Maximum Effort. Am I saying that right? Hold on. Yeah, Maximum Effort channel on the Fubo streaming service. Is Fubo free?
I think it is. It
But,
was free. I don't know if it still is free.
But the premise of the show is Bruce Campbell is the host, and the show's called Discontinued. And every episode, he's talking about a product that has been released in the past that it's no longer continued. So I'm sure you'll see shit like Surge drink and shit.
Do you remember Orbs?
Orbs, chewing gum?
No, it was a drink. It looked like a
No.
lava lamp. It had like little balls of fruit in it. Like it was like little pellets. It was called Orbs with a Z.
Maybe they'll do a fucking episode on that.
Oh, God.
I think, like I said, even though it's not horror related, it is hosted by legendary horror actor Bruce Campbell. Plus, it's a pretty good kind of like, if you're going to watch reality shows or whatnot, this is my kind of reality show where
I remember.
yeah, like you take things that were from back in the day that you remember that is no longer made or discontinued and everything, and you talk about their popularity and stuff like that. I like watching shows like that. Like, we've seen a lot of things. People go crazy for the fucking Cabbage Patch people, the dolls or whatever, or the Furbies, or the fucking what was that shit that you could grow
Tamagotchis.
grow a pet on a little device, whatever the fuck
it was Tamagotchis.
Even fucking Chia Pets at one time was like the hot shit to do.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, but I'm like flooded with a bunch of stuff we don't have any around, like High C Cooler. You know, the
High C Cola?
No, Cooler, High C
What?
Cooler. The Ghostbusters edition of High C.
Nah,
They had. Oh man, I'm like
Got
bringing up
me.
shit you don't even remember.
yeah.
And we're the same age. They just recently brought back the 3D Doritos, but they're not as big as they were back in the day. For you youngins that don't remember, the 3D Doritos used to be like almost like an inch wide. Like they were like really fucking big. The reason why I know is because I used to bite the end off the son of a bitch and fill it with cheddar whizzy, if you know what I'm talking about, and then eat it. I was a fat kid. So.
And you know, just recently, that whole that new drink, Starry,
Yeah.
has taken the place of
It's because they got sued.
Sierra Mist.
Yeah, it's because they got sued by some African-American woman that said that was her name or some stupid shit like that. And they were like, well, fuck you. We'll just change the name and the logo, which I can't believe they did because that shit's been around forever. But
Well, you know,
desperate times call for desperate measures.
it's the same thing when, you know, WWF had to change because of the World Wildlife Federation. And
Yeah.
the WWF had been around since 1982, 3, something like that. And, yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things where, you know, but, I'll be interested in to kind of check this show out.
Yeah, it sounds good. Maybe we can, talk about it because it might not be horror related, but I mean, he's a horror icon.
Yeah.
And
the actual
we support our people.
Right, and the actual premise of the show is something that, you know, we're interested in. I love watching shows like, The Decade That Made Us, and they'll pick out one year, like 1984, and they'll say, well, this was who's the president, and this is the music that came out. These are the movies that came out this year, blah, 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 blah. I love watching shit like that. I love watching, the documentaries on how they have a good one on the toys that made us on Netflix.
Yeah.
About like the Power Rangers and the Ninja Turtles and, the rise of all that good stuff.
They even have wrestling figures on there.
Yeah, they have
which is
wrestling
surprising.
figures and the Barbie doll and the Cabbage Patch and I love watching console wars, the Sega Nintendo war that was in the late 80s, early 90s. Like there's some good shit out there that doesn't have to involve, desperate housewives.
Oh yeah, I love pretty much documentary style stuff. But it's also reality, so it's like reality ish, but anywho.
Yeah, well, speaking of that, on a Pet Sematari's Bloodlines, which we talked about and we reviewed, and we really liked that film.
Yeah, it was good.
Check this out. Regardless, it has a score of 23% on Rotten Tomatoes, which don't really mean shit, but there's a point to this. Regardless of that, the movie has actually broke a Paramount Plus record. And that is, it has been, for an original movie to debut on Paramount Plus, it is number one as far as being watched for the first 30 days of its release. Like no other film on the platform